Hello students, let us continue our discussion over alimentary canal. As you already know, this stomach internal region is divided into four chambers or the four regions. They include the upper bulged part called fundus, part in front of the esophagus called cardiac, and the central part is called body. This terminal part which is conical, which is called pyloric region. Now this pyloric region, which is the last part of the stomach, will continue into a 6 meter long tube. This 6 meter long tube is called, what is the length of this one? It is around 6 meter long. I am going with a rough sketch, very simple. A 6 meter long, what is this called? Small intestine. Small intestine has a length of 6 meter and a diameter of around 2.5 centimeter. Because of the smaller diameter, it is called what? Small intestine. But the length is 6 meter, diameter is just 2.5 centimeter. Now the pyloric region of the stomach continue into 6 meter long small intestine. To fit inside our abdomen, the length is very long, so that it can be placed inside our abdomen in a smaller region. It is coiled and folded. It is coiled and folded and it is placed in our abdominal region. This 6 meter long small intestine can be divided into 3 regions. What are they? The initial C-shaped part. Can you see this? The initial C-shaped part is called duodenum. What is it called? Duodenum. Middle part is called jejunum. And the terminal part is called ileum. I repeat, the initial C-shaped part is called duodenum, measuring a length of around 25 centimeter. The middle part, which measures around 2.5 meter, that part is called jejunum, Jejunum, and the terminal part is called ileum, which measures a length of 3.6 meter. The students, you need not to remember this length and all. It is not important for the board, and even they will not ask this in the NEET. But the very important point for NEET is, which is the longest region in the small intestine? Out of the 3, the longest region is ileum. This you have to note down. Ileum is the longest among the 3 because it measures 3.6 meter. Clear? Now just focus here. In between the last part of the stomach called pyloric and the first part, which is very short, called duodenum, in between the two you will find the presence of, I hope you are guessing it, what? Sphincter. The sphincter present in the initial opening or upper opening of the esophagus is called upper esophageal sphincter. Lower end in between esophagus and stomach is called lower esophageal sphincter or gastroesophageal sphincter, or cardiac sphincter is present here. And in between stomach and small intestine, the sphincter is called, I will label it here, 1 mark question, pyloric sphincter. Note down, it is a 1 mark question. Name the sphincter between stomach and small intestine. Your answer is pyloric sphincter. What is the job of it? It allows one-way movement of the acidic content present in the stomach. What is that called? That is called chyme. The juice present in the stomach called gastric juice, as it mixes with the food in the stomach, the food that you have eaten, both of them will mix. Eradu mix adavaga formation aguva that acidic liquid, we call it as what? Chyme. C-H-Y-M-E. 1 mark question. We discuss it. Chyme, right? This chyme is released to small intestine through the which sphincter? Pyloric sphincter, whereas it prevents the backflow of the food. That is very important. And the another very important thing is the mucosa is the innermost lining in the wall of the intestine. Okay, I already told you about it. The mucosa is very thick in the duodenum when compared to jejunum and ileum. Can you guess what could be the reason for this? I repeat the statement. The thick mucosa or the mucous membrane is present in the duodenum when compared to jejunum and ileum. The reason is the acidic chyme is released to duodenum for the first time, right? To prevent the effects of acidic nature, to neutralize the acidic nature of the chyme, duodenum has very thick mucosa. Now you may ask me, what about in the remaining part? Why it is not required? The chyme only continues to jejunum and ileum, right now? But here also mucosa is present. Mucous membrane is present, but it is not that thick. Why? Because once the acidic chyme comes to duodenum, here you have a gland, a largest gland of the body. What is that called? Liver. Liver produces a juice called bile juice. Just try to understand. I will give you a detailed explanation about it in my next session. Okay, try to understand. Liver produces which juice? Bile juice. You might have studied about it. This bile juice through a duct. Duct means one pipe, a canal like. Through a duct of the liver, the bile juice will come and release to duodenum. Okay, here only you have a leaf-like gland called pancreas, which produces pancreatic juice. I repeat, which produces pancreatic juice. That juice is also released to your duodenum. And one more thing is, in the later part of the small intestine, not in the duodenum, especially in the other region, in the wall of the small intestine, you will find microscopic glands in the wall of the small intestine called intestinal gland. They also produce their juice directly into the intestine. I repeat this concept, very simple. Liver produces bile juice released to intestine. Pancreas produces pancreatic juice released to intestine. Wall of the small intestine has a gland called intestinal gland, which also produce intestinal juice that is also released to small intestine. These three juices are alkaline. They are basic. Now try to understand, when acidic chyme released to duodenum, as that chyme continues its journey, it gets mixed with alkaline bile juice, alkaline pancreatic juice. Later on, it also mixes with alkaline which juice? Intestinal juice. The acidic nature will be neutralized. That's why the thick mucosa is not required in the remaining region. Is that clear? Now, in between stomach and small intestine, which one is present? Pyloric sphincter is present. Now, throughout the length of the small intestine, the next very important property, you will find even in the duodenum also, but more in the remaining region, you will find large number of microscopic finger-like structures. Throughout you will find. Okay, I will draw in only some places. Please try to understand this. Throughout the length of the small intestine, you will find large number of finger-like structures called what? The same 10th class concept. What is that called? Villi. Assume I will take a section of a small region of the small intestine. This small intestine inside has large number of finger-like structures. What these finger-like structures are called? These finger-like structures are called What? Villi. Villi. What is that called? Villi. What is the job of villi? Function of villi? 1 mark question. Please don't get confused with large number of foldings present in the stomach. Guys, what you will call these foldings? There is a difference in the word folding and finger-like structure. They are different. Foldings found in the empty stomach are called what? Rugae or gastric rugae. Function: increases the surface area for storage of food. As food comes to stomach, surface area increases. More and more food can be stored into this. But the finger-like structures, not foldings, finger-like structures called villi, which are present in your small intestine, right? They increases, 1 mark question, increases surface area for, write down, absorption. What is the heading of the chapter? Digestion and absorption. After digestion, the food should be absorbed. Please try to understand that. 1 mark question. Villi increases the surface area for absorption of digestion or the end products of digestion. That is the role of which one? Villi. Finally, the entire function of small intestine is, I can say in one word, small intestine is, write down, principal site for, it is the principal site for digestion and absorption. I repeat, it is the principal site for digestion and absorption. How it is the main site for digestion? Answer is bile juice, pancreatic juice, intestinal juice. All the 3 juices are released to your small intestine, right? In your mouth there is only 1 juice. Which juice? Saliva. Don't write mango juice. The answer is saliva, right? In your stomach there is only 1 juice. Which one? Gastric juice. But inside the small intestine you will find 3 kinds of secretions or the juices rich with enzymes. That's why it is the maximum digestion of the food can be seen in where? Small intestine. It is the principal site for digestion because of the 3 different secretion. Clear? Why it is the principal site for absorption? I have told the answer, because it has large number of microscopic structures called villi that increases the surface area for absorption. Is that clear? The expected question, which is the longest region? Ileum. Sphincter between stomach and small intestine. This is your answer. Another one is, what is the function of intestine? It is the principal site for digestion and absorption. Finally, the last part called ileum will continue into a 1.5 meter long length. What is the length? 1.5 meter length or long, okay, structure which is having, visible, no? Which is having a diameter of, around 6.5 centimeter. Try to understand. And this 6.5 centimeter, right, diameter canal, this canal can be called as what? Large intestine. Okay, what is that called? Large intestine. Try to focus on each and every word. Note down the points, okay? That will help you a lot. Now, right, if you compare small intestine and large intestine in terms of length, which one is longer? Of course, small intestine. Whereas large intestine has just a length of 1.5 meter. In terms of diameter, when you compare, large intestine is having a larger diameter of 6.5 centimeter. That's why the name. Clear? Now, the last part of the small intestine called ileum will open into first part, the first part of the large intestine, which is called what? Cecum. C-A-E-C-U-M. Okay. This cecum is referred as blind sac. Cecum is called, I will write the point here, blind sac. I am going to use this word again and again in many areas, okay, in different, while discussing the anatomy. What do you mean by blind sac? Blind sac means a sac or a pouch like structure where one end is almost closed, another end is open. Right now, blind sac means, okay, it is a area or a canal like structure or a sac like structure. One end is closed, another end is open. I can call this as blind sac. One end is closed, another end is open. Clear? Okay. Now, this cecum, its posterior region continues into, a small, a tiny structure which is called what? Vermiform appendix. What is that called? Vermiform appendix, okay, which arises from anterior region of the cecum or posterior region of the cecum. Posterior region of the cecum. Try to understand, both cecum and vermiform appendix are the example for what? Are the example for, note down, vestigial organ. I have already told you the meaning of vestigial organ. The organ which is less functional and poorly developed in the humans, whereas it is well developed and well functional in other animals. Such organs are called what? Vestigial organs. Organs, note down the definition, which are poorly developed and less functional in humans, well developed and well functional in other animal, any animal. Such organs are called vestigial. Cecum and appendix, in human, they are vestigial. Their function is very, very minimum. You can't say no, very, very minimum. It is not serving the actual purpose. Whereas the same two structures in case of herbivorous mammals. In whom? Herbivorous. What about you? You are omnivorous. Don't say that, sir, I am a pure vegetarian. How can I be omnivorous? No. If you observe our teeth, nature of our job, everything, our history of evolution, we are omnivorous. Actually, our teeth and all meant for omnivorous mode of nutrition. Anyhow, you may feed on the veg only. That is secondary. Herbivores are those which feed on the plant source, like in case of cattle, goat, sheep, camel. In these animals, cattle, goat, sheep, camel, in such herbivorous mammal, the same two structures are very long. They are very longer, they are very, very well developed, where the same structures help in what? Cellulose digestion. Hope you know about cellulose. The cell wall in the plant cell, the cell wall contains a carbohydrate called what? Cellulose, right? No, that cellulose digestion require, note this point, it is not there in the NCERT but very important. Cellulose can be digested by an enzyme called what? Cellulase. Okay, cellulase. Look at here. There is a what? Suffix. I'm sorry. There is a suffix called visible ase. Can you see? Whenever you find not prefix, a suffix called ase, whenever ase is present, you have to understand that is an enzyme. Say for example, if I use a word maltase, enzyme, lactase, ACE is there. ACE anta bandre adar artha adu ಒಂದು enzyme ಹಾಗೆ act ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅರ್ಥ. Okay, for representing enzyme we use the suffix ACE. Clear? Now in herbivorous mammals, the cellulase enzyme, okay, act on cellulose, help in the digestion of this, which require lot of time. That's why the length is very longer. And another very important thing is This enzyme in the cecum and appendix of cattle, goat, sheep, avaralli adu tumba well developed alva. In them, this enzyme is produced by bacteria which are present inside. Remember, this enzyme is not produced by the animal. Cattle is not producing it. In the cattle's cecum and appendix, there are bacteria like E. coli bacteria and other bacteria are present. Bacteria produce the enzyme. Production of the enzyme and action of this enzyme on cellulose require lot of time. That's why the length is very longer, and of course their diet is rich with which one? Cellulose. Okay, but in case of human, as we feed on cooked and boiled food, ನಾವು ಕುಕ್ಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಬಾಯ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಫುಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ಫೀಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ರೈಟ್ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲೋಸ್ ಡೈಜೆಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ನಾಟ್ ಅಕರಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಂಟೆಸ್ಟೈನ್. But the very important thing is these two become vestigial. Avaralli functional, nammalli enagide in our case the function has minimized or very less. But the very important point in our case also, not appendix, this door is totally closed. Okay, in appendix you will find few bacteria. The bacteria are even present in our cecum also. These bacteria are symbiotic, means they are mutually benefited. These bacteria help human and human help for their survival. Both are benefited. They don't cause any harm. Is that clear? Nammalli kuda these bacteria are present. And the next very important NCERT point, try to understand, which is the last part of the small intestine? Ileum. Which is the first part of the large intestine? Cecum. In between ileum and cecum, yes, once again what you will find? Sphincter. And this sphincter is called, write down one more question, what? Ileocecal sphincter. Okay, what is that called? Ileocecal sphincter is present between small intestine and large intestine. Nothing but between ileum and cecum it is present. You know the function, what it will do? It will allow only one directional movement, whereas it prevents the backflow of what? Backflow of undigested waste. That means, what is the function of large intestine? Large intestine helps in the storage of what? Undigested waste. Jeerna agade iruva waste is stored in the large intestine, which is prevented, right, to backflow to the intestine, small intestine, by which one? Ileocecal sphincter. So hope it is clear. What is the function of large intestine? It helps in the storage of undigested waste. Okay, nothing but the fecal matter. Now, cecum posteriorly lead to vermiform appendix. Anteriorly, edurugade, anteriorly lead to the longest part of the large intestine. Please. It is the longest part of the large intestine. This entire region where you find pouch like structure, right? This is called what? What is that called? Colon. Okay, that is called colon. This colon can be divided into 4 regions. What are they? They are, hope it is visible, this part of the colon, I will write here, it is called ascending colon. Okay, what is that called? Ascending colon, easy to remember. This region of the colon, right, this is called, yes, what? Transverse colon. Note down. This region of the colon is called what? Descending colon. Descending colon. And the last part of the colon, which is something S-shaped, sigmoid, S-shaped. That's why it is called sigmoid colon. I repeat, Which is the longest region of the small intestine? Your answer is ileum. Which is the longest region of large intestine? It is the colon. Do colon is longer than ileum? No, because the length of the large intestine itself is just how much? 1.5, whereas ileum measures 3.6. So try to understand, colon is the longest region of large intestine, which can be divided into 4 regions. They are initial part called ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and sigmoid colon. Is that clear? Little bit careful while drawing. For colon, you have to show these pouch-like structures. Okay, these pouches are the indication of what? Colon. You can easily, by looking into pouch, okay, when you cut the dead body, when you go to the MBBS class, you can easily identify the colon or the large intestine. Now, the last 15 to 20 centimeter of the large intestine, 15 to 20 centimeter of the large intestine is called what? Last part is called rectum. Okay, cecum, vermiform appendix, colon, and the last 15 to 20 centimeter is called rectum. Rectum opens into the last opening. What is that last opening called? Anus. A-N-U-S. Okay, very important point. The opening of the anus is guarded by 2 sphincters. I will go with a rough sketch. Okay, this is 1, this is 2. The opening of the anus, hope you can, I will draw once again here, try to understand, very simple. Imagine this is what? The last part, anus. The opening of the anus is guarded by how many sphincter? 2. What are they? The inner one is called internal anal sphincter, very important. Internal anal sphincter, hope you can guess here. The outer one is called what? External anal sphincter. Okay, external anal sphincter, very important. Internal anal sphincter is made up of smooth muscle. There are 3 types of muscle. Try to recall. What are they? Cardiac muscle found in the heart. Involuntary, the muscle which is not under our control, is called smooth muscle. The muscle which is voluntary in the biceps and all is called skeletal. Internal anal sphincter is made up of smooth muscle. External anal sphincter is made up of which one? Skeletal muscle, which is voluntary. Smooth muscle is involuntary. That means internal anal sphincter opening is under the control of involuntary centers of the brain, whereas external anal sphincter, as it is made up of skeletal muscle, its opening is under the voluntary control. When we decide, that time only it opens. Is that clear? Through which undigested waste will go out. So I can say here, large intestine, number 1, it helps in the storage of undigested waste. Number 2, large intestine helps in absorption of water. What water we consume, right? Among in the alimentary canal, maximum water absorption occur in the which one? Large intestine. Point number 2, it helps in the absorption of highest water and other vitamins also. Vitamins also absorbed from large intestine. Number 3, it helps in the elimination of undigested waste. The process of elimination of undigested waste is called defecation. Okay, defecation. Elimination of the undigested waste through anus is called defecation. This is all about the study of which one? Alimentary canal. What next we have to study? We have to study the glands associated with the alimentary canal. But before going to that, one more very important thing is we have to discuss about the wall of the alimentary canal. I repeat, We are discussing which one? The wall of the alimentary canal. Can you see the wall? Right? From esophagus up to anus, wherever you want, if you take a section, okay, and we are studying which one? By taking the section, we are studying the wall of the alimentary canal.